Felix had been planning his proposal. Even though they were now in a relationship, Felix wished to give her everything she deserved. Isabel had been busy lately going on a concert tour again. She had risen to fame. Every release of a new single would have her trend in media, and that was a rare sight in the entertainment industry. There were 12 shows for her tour this time, and that day was her last performance. As it was in Jipsdale, everyone who knew Isabel had come. Everyone but Isabel knew that Felix was going to propose to her at the concert. At that moment, she was already a few songs into the show. Isabel was rather satisfied with her current life. She was surrounded by good friends, and she was free to do the things she loved. Thank you for coming to my concert. I'm only 21 this year, but I've gotten everything I want in life. This is thanks to your support. Thank you, Isabel said, feeling moved. Isabel, we love you. Do your best, Isabel. As long as it's your concert, we'll definitely come and support you. Right then, the stage turned dark, and the spotlight shone on the piano. Felix, well dressed in a suit, was seated before the piano. His hands nimbly moved across the keys. The truth was, it had been a long time since Felix played the piano, but for Isabel, he had started practicing again. He played Marry You, and when Isabel recognized the music, her tears fell. Felix seemed not to know what romance was sometimes, but she knew how well he had been to her. He endures my fiery temper and accepts everything about me unconditionally. I've planned to propose if he still doesn't plan to. But now, is he going to propose to me today? Wow! The fans all knew about Felix and Isabel's relationship, so when they saw Felix, they immediately figured out what was going on. The atmosphere on the stage was dreamy. After Felix performed a piece, he strode over to Isabel and went down on one knee. Marry me, Isabel. I promise to give you the most blissful life you can have from now on. I won't let anyone be mean to you, and I'll give you all the love I have. Tears flowed down Isabel's cheeks. So this man has been planning the proposal all this time? I thought he didn't want to get married. Isabel, will you marry me? Felix's voice was deep and sexy. At that moment, he seemed to be the only one Isabel could see. Marry him. Marry him. Isabel's fans were supportive fans. They would not stop her from getting married. Isabel nodded. Felix, the luckiest thing in my life is meeting you in my best years. She was well aware of how great the man was to her. She knew they would have a wonderful life from then on. Felix was all smiles. He was crying, too. He had been anticipating that day, and he was moved by the entire proposal as well. He took out the ring from his pocket and put it on her finger. From now on, you're mine. After putting on the ring for Isabel, Felix rose to his feet, wrapped his arm around her waist, and kissed her. She was young and had a fiery temper. But did that matter? As long as the two of them could be together, nothing else really mattered. Having been there to witness their journey through various challenges and hardships, Sophie was deeply touched as she observed them. She was truly happy for them. The sight of her in that vulnerable state made Tristan reach out for her hand. Sophie, do you think my marriage proposal was too casual? He was concerned that his might be seen as insincere. Sophie leaned into his arms. Never. Haven't I told you not to compare ourselves to others? Everything is perfect as long as we are happy about it. Meeting Tristan is the luckiest thing that has ever happened in my life. As if sensing her joy, the baby in her stomach kicked her. Ah. It was the first time Sophie had felt the baby's movement, and it startled her. What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? I can take you to the hospital right away. Tristan had been nervous ever since Sophie became pregnant. He was always concerned about her well-being and was quick to offer a trip to the hospital whenever anything happened. Calm down, Tristan. Our baby just kicked me. At that moment, what resonated within Sophie was the sheer joy of life. Really? Look. Our baby kicked me again. Tristan was awed by the wonders of life. Does it hurt? I'm going to teach this kid of mine a lesson once he's out in this world. How could he be mean to his mother at such a young age? Sophie leaned against his chest. The baby's still in me. What does he possibly know? Will you only love him and no longer love me when he's born? Tristan felt a sense of insecurity about his family status. Sophie pecked him on the chin. Are you jealous of your own kid? Of course. That's why you have to swear to me that the person you love most in this world is me. I promise that you'll always be the one I love the most in this world. But let's make sure we both love our baby with all our hearts too, all right? She wanted their child to be the luckiest child in the world. She did not receive love from her parents, so she would not let her child experience the same thing. Of course. This is our kid. I'll definitely love him too. How can I not? This is the baby Sophie's bearing for me. Right then, the Wheelers started performing on stage. As Isabel was too moved by the entire proposal, her makeup had run, and she needed to fix it. When Tristan and Sophie went backstage, they saw Isabel's tears and red nose. Tristan frowned. Isabel, you're a star. How can you do this to yourself? This is unprofessional. Isabel shot her uncle a glare. That's enough, Uncle Tristan. Can't I be touched by this moment? Also, Felix hasn't even said anything about my state, so hush. Sophie hooked her arm around Tristan's and looked at Isabel in amusement. Congratulations, Isabel. When Isabel looked at Sophie, her eyes were filled with nothing but tenderness. Thank you, Sophie. It's because of you that I got the chance to do what I love. Why are you being so polite with me? All right, once the concert is over, give yourself a break and start preparing for your wedding. Despite her busy schedule, Isabel has to find time to make all the necessary preparations for her wedding. Isabel hugged Sophie. I knew you were the best. Don't worry. When this concert is over, I'll start planning for the wedding. She had many ideas for her ideal wedding, and she would fulfill them all. The concert would go on for more than an hour. Since Sophie became pregnant, she found herself more susceptible to bouts of sleepiness. When Tristan realized that she was nodding off, he decided to bring her home first. There's just an hour left until the concert ends. I can tough it out. Sophie understood the significance of this day for Isabel and wanted to be there to support her throughout. It's rather late. I'm sure she wants to spend more time with Felix tonight. There's no point for you to stick around. All right. Tristan brought Sophie home. After she took a shower, he went to do the same. His wife was pregnant, so he could not do anything. It was tormenting for a man as energetic as him. Can I still not? Tristan's hands were already wandering around her body. Hasn't it been 3 months? I've checked, and a couple can do that thing after 3 months. Sophie took in his pitiful look and could not stop the amused chuckle from escaping her lips. She felt bad for him. They had only been married for a short time and she ended up pregnant. And before that, he had been holding himself back. That was why he was so desperate to sleep with her. You can, but you have to be gentle. After all, she had a baby in her stomach. He could not use as much force as he usually would. Really? Tristan sat up the second he heard her. Don't worry. I'll be extra cautious. I won't do anything that could harm our baby. He had been restraining himself for a considerable time. And now, finally, the day had arrived. It had been 3 months since he did it with her. Furthermore, she was pregnant, so she was more sensitive. When Tristan was doing it with her, he was exceptionally careful. In no time, the two were sweating profusely. Still, when they reached their peak, Tristan sighed in contentment. Sophie, this is the only child we'll have. Let's not have more. The pregnancy was hard on her and him, and he did not want a repeat of it. Okay. Sophie gave him a kiss. She loved the man with all her heart, beyond measure. In the past, she had believed she could face the world alone. However, because of his love now, there were so many things she desired to discover, including the ability to rely on him. Tristan did it again and again with her. Although it felt different from before, Tristan was satisfied. Meanwhile, the concert ended. After Isabel thanked the staff and removed her makeup, it was already after 1 in the morning. Everyone had already gone back, but Felix remained. That was the kind of person Felix was. He would give her anything she wanted. After getting changed into casual clothes, Isabel noticed that the man was still standing at the side in his suit. She dashed over to him and kissed him on the lips. How could Felix reject a beautiful woman like Isabel? Wrapping his arms around her waist, he returned the kiss with a desperate fervor. Finally, she was his. "Felix, I love you." She had to admit that she had many flaws, but Felix would always accept her no matter what. It was her greatest fortune to meet him. "I love you too." Unable to stop himself, he kissed her again and again, his love for her threatening to pour out like water from a broken dam. The concert was over, and Isabel started planning for her wedding. Felix did not leave everything to her. They did the preparations together. Although they had some disagreements during the planning, Felix always ended up relenting to her. The planning was an exhausting affair, but Isabel was happy about it. Sophie's stomach was getting bigger and bigger. Most of the time, Tristan would bring his work home so that he had more time to keep her company. Although Sophie was pregnant, she remained energetic as before. She could still manage Tanner Group, TS Entertainment, and the medical association well. Furthermore, her pregnancy had made her transform into a much gentler character. Isabel noticed the changes, and she could not help but be amazed by them. The wedding planning took 3 months, and Felix brought Isabel's dream wedding into reality. On the day of her wedding, Isabel bawled her eyes out. William's heart ached when he saw her tears. "Don't cry, Belle. If Felix dares bully you, tell me. I'll beat him into a pulp." William loved Isabel dearly. Wiping away the tears on her face, Isabel reassured him with a smile. "Don't worry, Grandpa. Felix and I will be happy together." The wedding was beautiful. Isabel, with her arms hooked around Lincoln's, walked toward her prince. Felix was a little nervous as he watched the woman he loved walk over to him. The second Lincoln placed her hand in his. He felt as if his world was complete. He was sure that they would have their happily ever after. "Ms. Lombard, I've finally married you." Felix could not help but whisper into her ear when he put on the ring for her. When the wedding ended, it was time for the friends and family of the couple to mess around with them in the bedroom. Felix and Isabel were not as lucky as Tristan and Sophie, however. Just as they were about to flee, Charles and the others stopped them. "Charles, you're not even married. Don't push your luck," Felix warned. The ones who were gathered in the room were the ones who knew how to have fun, and he wanted the room intact for his first night with his wife. In other words, he did not have time to play with them. "Felix, it's your big day with Isabel. You can't get angry on a day like this," Charles said fearlessly. He did not even have a girlfriend, so there was no need for him to fret about that. Charles and the others had prepared plenty of games, and Isabel enjoyed herself. Tristan and Sophie did not join in. They watched the rest from the side. "Thank God you were smart enough to bring me on a honeymoon. Otherwise, those tricks would have been used on us." "Of course. All right, be careful. Don't let them hit you." Sophie's stomach was getting larger every day, and Tristan could not help but worry about her. "I'm fine. We have 3 more months. You don't need to worry that much," she replied with a chuckle, knowing that he was overwrought. "All right. But, no matter what, it's better to be careful." "I know. Don't worry. I'll take good care of our child." Sophie was already an adult. She knew how to take care of herself. "No. My worry for you is above everything else. I just want you to be safe. What's the use of having a child if she's not around? She still holds the most important place in my heart." "I know," Sophie said. Of course, she knew how deeply in love the man was with her. Since Felix had already booked the entire hotel today, Tristan decided to bring Sophie to one of the rooms. Charles and the others persisted in their playful antics within the newlyweds' presidential suite. Tristan and Sophie believed that Charles would face his own reckoning when it was his turn to marry. After showering, Sophie climbed into bed and drifted into a restless sleep plagued by nightmares. As she awoke, she discovered her body drenched in perspiration. What happened? Did you have a nightmare? Tristan, lying beside her, gently woke her up, unable to bear witnessing her distress. As soon as Sophie saw Tristan beside her, she immediately threw herself into his arms, embracing him tightly. "It's okay now. It's just a dream. I'm always here with you," he said. "No matter what happens, we'll stay together forever." "I'm feeling better now," Sophie said. However, as soon as she spoke, she realized her voice had become hoarse and her throat was sore. Upon hearing her raspy voice, Tristan realized she must have caught the flu. "I'll get the hotel to make you a cup of ginger tea since you're pregnant and can't take medicine." Tristan grabbed a piece of tissue to wipe her face before planting a kiss on her forehead. "Okay," she replied obediently. Deep down, Sophie knew it would still take a week for her to fully recover, but she still gave him a positive response, not wanting him to worry about her well-being. After helping her change into a pair of dry clothes, Tristan called the hotel and asked them to make her a cup of ginger tea. "I would have brought her home had I known she was not feeling well. It would have been more convenient for me to look after her at home." Shortly after, a hotel staff member arrived with the ginger tea. Tristan took the tea from him and then proceeded to feed Sophie. Sophie had never been fond of ginger tea since childhood, but with Tristan by her side, she had no choice but to comply. Sip by sip, she reluctantly drank the tea, guided by his patient and caring hand. After drinking half a cup of tea, she finally lifted her hand to stop him. "That's enough. I don't want to drink it anymore," she said. "I can't take it anymore." "Okay. If you don't want to drink it, we won't force it." However, in a surprising move, he took a sip of the ginger tea himself and then kissed her on the lips, transferring the drink into her mouth. "I know you don't like the taste of ginger, but it's important for your health, so you still have to finish it." Sophie was instantly bereft of words. "Oh well. I guess I can still accept it since he feeds me this way. All right, we've finished the ginger tea. You can go back to sleep now," Sophie said as she settled down. Tristan gently placed the empty bowl aside and joined her under the blanket. After finding a comfortable spot to snuggle in, Sophie fell asleep in his arms right away. Meanwhile, on the other side of the hotel, Felix had finally kicked Charles and the others out of the presidential suite. With no outsiders in the room anymore, they finally got to enjoy some privacy. Felix could not help but chuckle when he gazed at his beautiful wife. "I finally got to marry the girl I love. I can't believe a wedding can be this exhausting. I don't even feel like moving at all," Isabel complained. "We're already so exhausted. Yet Charles and the rest still refuse to leave us alone." Felix inched closer, helping her to undo her hair. "It's okay. We're only doing this once in our lives, anyway. When Charles gets married in the future, we must remember to teach him a lesson," Felix said. "I'll make sure he pays the price." Isabel thought what he said made sense too. "So, are we going on our honeymoon tonight?" she asked, remembering how Sophie and Tristan had on their honeymoon immediately after their wedding. Felix scooped her up and carried her in his arms. "We'll go on our honeymoon tomorrow. But tonight, I have a more pressing matter to attend to," Felix declared. "Now that we are officially married, it's only fitting that we consummate our union." As he gently laid her on the bed, Isabel instantly grasped the implications behind his words. Being a mature woman, she was well aware of the man's intentions. While Isabel was typically unabashed in her speech, today she appeared coy, a delicate flush coloring her cheeks. Her flushed cheeks only intensified Felix's feelings of affection. "I love you, Isabel." Isabel looked up and gazed into his eyes. How can I not love this man? Witnessing the man's tender and considerate actions before their intimate moment melted her heart. "I love you too." Unable to resist any longer, Felix undressed her, allowing them to indulge in their desires together. He savored every moment of intimacy with her. Isabel experienced some discomfort when they first began, but she tried to endure it. Aware that it was her first time, Felix made sure to be as gentle as possible. He had envisioned a night of continuous passion, but Isabel could not keep up with the intense pace. After 3 rounds, she reached her limit and could not go on. Felix tenderly assisted her in cleaning up before they embraced each other and drifted off to sleep together. With his beloved wife nestled in his arms, Felix found it impossible to fall asleep. The overwhelming euphoria coursing through him was indescribable. The following day, Isabel woke up around 10 in the morning, only to find her entire body aching. It was a rather unpleasant sensation. At that time, Felix was no longer in the room. "Where is he?" Isabel mumbled. "How could he disappear just like that when we've just gotten married? What am I going to do if he's going to do this to me all the time?" Just when she was deep in thought, Felix opened the door and walked in with a bouquet of roses. When Isabel noticed the roses in his hands, her heart skipped a beat. "Did he wake up early just to get me this bouquet?" "Good morning, honey." Felix gave her the flowers. On their first day as newlyweds, a momentous occasion, he made sure not to overlook any details. Isabel could not help but smile with happiness as she held the bouquet of roses in her hands. "Felix, you're spoiling me," she exclaimed. "What am I gonna do if I take advantage of his kindness in the future? You're my wife, and I want to shower you with all my love. Come on. It's time to wake up and get ready. We'll have breakfast with Sophie and the others before we leave for our honeymoon." The honeymoon is something newlyweds anticipate the most, isn't it? Okay. Isabel was glad that she could enjoy breakfast with Sophie and the others before departing. Felix is always so considerate when making arrangements. It's hard to find any flaws in everything he does. Felix carried Isabel to the bathroom to freshen up. After that, they went straight to the restaurant to meet Sophie and the rest. By the time they reached there, Charles and Sean had already arrived. Charles could not resist teasing. "Felix, now that you've experienced intimacy, remember to exercise self-control." Felix ignored Charles. It was clear that the latter was simply jealous. "What I'm doing is legal, and you have no right to interfere," Felix stated as he pulled out a chair for Isabel. "Wait here while I fetch some food for you." The hotel offered a self-service breakfast, requiring guests to help themselves with the food. "Okay." Isabel beamed brightly as she relished the thought of being pampered by him. There was nothing in life for her to worry about. Sophie couldn't help but smile when she saw her. Isabel was truly in a blissful state, and that was all that mattered. "Sophie, I'm genuinely happy now," Isabel said emotionally. It was indeed an exhilarating feeling. "Of course. When you have a good man like Felix by your side, you'll definitely be happy," Sophie responded while enjoying her breakfast. "Why is your voice so hoarse? Did you catch a cold?" Isabel immediately expressed her concern upon hearing Sophie's voice. After all, her friend was pregnant. "Don't worry. I'm fine. It's just a little cold. I'll be all right in a couple of days." Sophie had always been in good health, but being pregnant had made her slightly weaker. "You must take care of yourself. We'll be going on our honeymoon soon, and I won't be by your side to look after you. If you need anything, just let Aunt Sarah know." Isabel knew that Sarah would take good care of Sophie. "There's no need for that. It's just a common cold. Besides, Tristan will take care of me. He's been doing a great job thus far." "All right, then." After they had breakfast together, Sean found a chance to speak privately with Sophie. "What's wrong? Is it still because of Cecilia? Didn't I tell you that she went abroad? Her mother's not in good health, so she went there to take care of her." In the end, Cecilia still didn't tell Sean about her pregnancy. Instead, she went abroad, where her parents could take care of her. She had always considered her pregnancy to be her own matter. "It's nothing. We have nothing to do with each other anyway. It was just a one-night stand, and she said that herself. Since that's the case, why should I be bothered by it? Sean, you don't have to feel burdened. The love between a man and a woman should be consensual. Cecilia is a proud woman. She won't allow anyone to be with her out of guilt. I know. Sean had nothing more to say. It seemed that they were destined to remain as two parallel lines that would never intersect. After finishing breakfast, Felix and Isabel were ready to head to the airport. When Isabel saw her father, Lincoln, she ran over and hugged him. "Why are you here, Dad? Aren't you busy? There's nothing important going on here." "You didn't have to come all the way," Isabel said in a childlike voice. Lincoln had come because he was worried about his daughter and wanted to see her off. "Isabel, you're Felix's wife from now on. No matter what happens, both of you have to stick together, understand? Don't act like a child when things don't go your way." He knew his own daughter well. Her temperament resembled that of a haughty princess. She was quick to anger at the smallest provocation. Isabel's eyes turned red when she heard her father's words. Did Dad come all the way here just to say these things? "Dad, don't worry. I understand. I won't cause you any trouble in the future." "I'm not worried about you causing trouble. I just want you and Felix to be happy." Since she was young, Lincoln had been strict with her. But, no matter what, she was his one and only daughter. How could he not cherish her? "Yeah, I know." As Felix stood nearby listening in on their conversation, he knew what Lincoln was worried about. "Dad, you don't need to worry. I will take good care of her, and I won't let any harm come to her," he reassured. "It will definitely be my fault if anything ever happens." "Very well, Felix. I entrust Isabel to you. She is my only daughter, and if you dare mistreat her, I won't leave you alone. Understood?" Tears welled up in Isabel's eyes as she watched the exchange between her father and Felix. She couldn't help but feel touched by her father's love and concern. "I'm just going on a honeymoon and will be back in a couple of days." "Okay, it's time to go," Lincoln said, breaking the emotional moment. After bidding farewell to Sophie and the others, Isabel and Felix set off together toward their destination. Tristan had an important meeting at Lombard Group. He accompanied Sophie back home, making sure she was settled before he left. "Don't go anywhere since you're not feeling well. Rest at home and call me if you need anything." Even though Tristan was only heading to the office for a short while, he was still worried about leaving her alone. "I'll be fine. You are just going for a short meeting at the company. I can manage things here," Sophie reassured him. However, she had to admit that Tristan had been taking care of her every need thus far, causing her to lose her independence in the process. "Okay." The man gently caressed her cheek, his eyes filled with affection. After Tristan departed, Sophie gave Cecilia a call. "What's up? Did you miss me? If you do, why don't you come to Anglander to see me?" Cecilia's voice rang out. She seemed to be living a good life in Anglander. "Sean asked about you again. Are you still not planning to tell him? It's really not easy for a person to raise a child. Why are you bringing this up again? Didn't I already tell you? This child has nothing to do with him. Trust me when I say I will take good care of the child. My parents are also looking forward to the baby's arrival. I used to worry that my parents wouldn't accept this child, but now they have embraced the idea. What else do I have to worry about? Sophie, I'm being serious. You don't need to worry about me. I'm really well now. Just take good care of yourself." "Okay. I'll come to Anglander to see you later. Take good care of yourself." "Sure, I know. I wonder if there will still be a place for me in the entertainment industry after I give birth." She truly loved acting, but for the sake of this child, she had to take such a long break. "Don't worry. When you are back, I will have everything prepared for you." There's no need for her to worry about it. "Sophie, I love you so much. What would I do without you?" It was truly a heartwarming conversation. "You don't have to fall hopelessly in love with me. Just take good care of yourself. The rest doesn't matter. When you come back, I'll have the best resources waiting for you." Cecilia's a talented, award-winning actress. Giving birth to a child won't make her lose everything. Okay, no matter what Sean says, don't let anything slip from your mouth. I don't want him to treat me differently because of the child in my belly. Cecilia was not someone who would rely on her child for status. She had her own pride, and she couldn't stoop to that level. All right. Take good care of yourself. I'll be waiting for you in Jipsdale. Isabel left for her honeymoon. Meanwhile, Sophie's belly grew larger in size, and with each passing day, her movements became more challenging and cumbersome. That day, Barney and Aureus arrived at the mansion to pay Sophie a visit. Seeing her huge belly, they were certain she was going to deliver soon. Sophie, you've been eating too much. Your due date isn't until much later, right? Look at your belly. Sophie was still skinny, except for her protruding belly, which was gradually growing with her pregnancy. Her limbs retained their slender shape. I think the same too. I can't help it though. You know how Tristan is. He's afraid I don't take enough food, Sophie explained. She couldn't bring herself to reject Tristan's kind actions. Nevertheless, Georgina expressed her concern, saying, "This is concerning. If the baby grows too large, it could lead to difficulties in labor." Her worry was valid, as an oversized baby could pose a risk to the mother during childbirth. It's fine, Georgina. I understand my body and its limitations. Please don't mention this to Tristan. He's already extremely worried, Sophie answered. After noticing how big her bump was, Tristan had been researching extensively about the risks associated with a large baby, and she didn't want to add to his anxiety. Upon recalling a recent incident when she woke up in the middle of the night to find Tristan watching over her instead of sleeping, she truly didn't want him to worry any more than he already was. As a doctor, it's essential that you prioritize your own well-being. Remember to maintain a balanced diet, Barney chimed in. With advancements in the medical field, the risks of childbirth were significantly reduced. Nonetheless, Sophie might experience difficulties during childbirth due to the size of the baby. I know. Barney and the rest had brought along new research to Tristan's mansion. Despite dedicating considerable time to its development, they encountered a persistent issue they couldn't overcome. Thus, they sought Sophie's expertise, presenting her with the pertinent information that day. Sophie quickly perused the file, but she was unfamiliar with this industry. Dr. Smith, there's no need to rush. As far as I know, no country has initiated research in this particular industry yet. It's perfectly acceptable to proceed at a steady pace, she reassured. Encountering obstacles in scientific and medical research was a normal part of the process. We're not in any hurry. Our intention is simply to share it with you. No need to worry. Sophie was heavily pregnant, and they had come here primarily to visit her. They wanted her to take good care of herself. As for the research, they didn't mind taking it slow. Tristan wasn't at home. Sophie had already told the housekeeper to prepare lunch, while Barney and the like decided to stay. I'll head to the kitchen to see if I can offer help. Georgina went to the kitchen as she wasn't needed. Although the housekeepers were capable of taking care of lunch themselves, Aureus did not intervene when Georgina decided to head to the kitchen. Aureus, when will you marry Georgina? Sophie asked. Their relationship was stable, so it was time for them to consider getting married. I will, but we'll talk about that after you give birth. I don't want the dates to clash, Aureus replied. You getting married and me giving birth are two separate things. Sophie protested. Just because I'm about to give birth doesn't mean you can't get married. Of course, they are related. I cannot ask for your help if you're pregnant, right? Aureus was saying that he could ask for her help after she gave birth. Fine. Whatever you say, then. Sophie couldn't be bothered to continue the topic. He can do anything he wants as long as he's happy with it. After having lunch together, Barney and the rest left. Sophie could finally return to her bedroom to take an afternoon nap. Not long after Sophie fell asleep, Tristan returned home. He had rushed back as soon as his meeting concluded, foregoing his lunch in the process. Finding her sound asleep, He went downstairs to have lunch. The housekeeper quickly served him lunch that they had prepared earlier. "Mr. Lombard, having lunch too late isn't good for your health," the housekeeper blurted out in concern. "I'm fine. Don't worry. When I'm not around, make sure to take good care of Mrs. Lombard," Tristan replied. He didn't mind eating a bit later. "Mr. Lombard, you're such a caring husband," the housekeeper commented, unable to hide her admiration. She couldn't help but feel a tinge of envy towards Sophie, who was fortunate enough to have such a loving and attentive spouse. After waking up from her nap, Sophie realized Tristan was sleeping beside her. He had recently lost some weight. A pang of sadness tugged at her heart as she observed his sunken cheeks. He worries about nothing. Giving birth is not that scary, but he keeps overthinking. Sophie didn't wake him up and kept him company in bed. He had finally fallen asleep, and she didn't want to wake him up. That night, Sophie and the housekeeper began organizing the baby clothes for the baby. The clothes had been washed and dried under the sun. Tristan was the one who bought these clothes. When he descended the stairs and noticed Sophie and the housekeeper diligently folding the garments, he approached them and decided to lend a hand. "Everything is ready. Your due date is near, so you should stay home for the time being," Tristan told her, sounding worried. He knew how busy she was. I know," Sophie assured him. As they were folding the clothes, Sophie suddenly felt a flare of pain in her stomach. Her face contorted, catching Tristan's attention immediately. Concerned, he inquired, "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? You must tell me if you're feeling unwell." "It's fine. Just give me a moment," she reassured him, trying to suppress the discomfort she felt. As she entered the final trimester of her pregnancy, she became increasingly aware of the challenges and discomfort that came with it. It was during these moments that she truly understood the magnitude of giving birth to a child. Seeing her situation, Tristan gazed at her anxiously as she held his hand. "I'm fine. Don't worry," Sophie comforted him. He had been there with her throughout every pregnancy checkup, witnessing the baby's healthy growth. There was no need for him to be overly anxious. When the clock struck midnight, Sophie's pain had increased, and Tristan's gaze remained fixed on her all the while. He knew Sophie had a high tolerance for pain, but seeing her in such agony now made him deeply concerned. "Should we pack up and head to the hospital? I'm deeply concerned about your well-being," Tristan urged, his voice filled with worry. Despite Sophie's medical background, he knew that she couldn't treat herself, especially in her current state of pregnancy. "Okay, let's go to the hospital," Sophie finally agreed, acknowledging that the time had come for her to give birth. Although her due date was still 2 weeks away, the baby had reached maturity, and it was natural for labor to begin at any moment. Tristan assisted Sophie in taking a quick shower and changing into fresh clothes before gently lifting her and carrying her to the car. They had already prepared the essential items, which the housekeeper had neatly placed in the trunk of the car. Late at night, Tristan drove Sophie to the hospital. Once they arrived, she was quickly examined by the doctor. Her cervix had dilated to 3 fingers wide, indicating that labor was progressing. "Doctor, how is my wife doing?" "Her cervix has dilated to 3 fingers wide. According to her situation, she should be able to have a smooth delivery. Don't worry. Here, please sign the document." Tristan felt pain to see Sophie in anguish. His hand was trembling as he signed the document. After Tristan signed the document and came back, Sophie was already in the delivery room. He immediately headed in. "Sir, this is the delivery room. You cannot come in," the nurse cautioned him. "Why not?" "I want to keep her company," Tristan demanded. He wanted to be by her side during this important moment. "Sir, you cannot go in," the nurse protested. Tristan commanded, "Move out of my way. If necessary, inform the hospital director to meet me. He will let you know if I can enter the delivery room." His wife was inside, and he was determined to be with her. Tristan's heart ached as he heard Sophie's painful moans emanating from inside. The nurse had to give in and allow him entry as she knew she couldn't afford to offend someone as influential and rich as him. After receiving the housekeeper's call, Sarah quickly changed her clothes to head to the hospital. Hearing the commotion, William also woke up. Why? Has Sophie gone into labor already? Let me come with you, he said anxiously. Dad, there's really no need for you to come. You won't be able to help, and it's better for you to rest at home. I promise to call you as soon as the baby is safely delivered. Please don't worry, Sarah reassured him. William knew there was nothing much he could do to help. Your mother passed away a long time ago, and there's no one who knows this situation better than you. Sarah, you should go and be there for Sophie. Don't let her overthink things. His biggest regret was that the Lombard family couldn't give Sophie a mother-in-law. Sarah gave her father a warm hug. Dad, don't think too much. We'll be there for her, so don't worry. She'll be fine. Sarah quickly gathered her stuff and rushed to the hospital. When she arrived, Sophie had yet to deliver the baby. Tristan was already in the delivery room. Sophie's cervix had dilated to 8 fingers wide, indicating that she was on the verge of giving birth. Tristan's heart ached as he witnessed her enduring the pain. Recognizing the immense challenge of childbirth, Tristan made the decision that they would have only one child. Gently, he wiped her sweat away. Sophie, are you all right? Sophie had been enduring the pain for over an hour. She was utterly exhausted by now. Seeing how worried he looked, she shook her head in response. I'm fine. If it's painful, you can pinch or bite me, Tristan suggested, not knowing what else to say. That elicited a smile from Sophie. What a fool. What use is there to pinch or bite him? Giving birth is a painful process, after all. Right then, the nurse came over to check on her and realized the baby's head was showing. Okay, get ready. The baby is coming out. Pay attention to how you breathe in and out. Having read numerous books on pregnancy, Sophie had familiarized herself with various aspects of pregnancy, including breathing exercises. Although she tried her best to cooperate with the nurse, the intensity of the pain left her on the verge of losing consciousness. Around half an hour later, a loud cry pierced the air. It's a boy. Tristan didn't even bother looking at the baby as his focus was entirely on Sophie. A while ago, Sophie was so exhausted she could fall asleep immediately, but now she was awake. The nurse came over with the baby to show Sophie. Look, it's a boy. He's adorable, isn't he? The nurse said cheerfully. The baby's parents are good-looking, so it's natural for their baby to be good-looking, too. He looks like you, Sophie commented happily. Tristan merely shot the baby a disgusted look. He put you through so much pain. When he grows up, I'll make sure to teach him a lesson, he vowed. Sophie held his hand. I'm okay, she comforted him. After all, it was natural to experience pain during childbirth. Honey, well done. You've successfully fulfilled your mission, so leave the task of taking care of the child to me, Tristan reassured her. Witnessing the extent of her pain during labor caused his heart to ache. Okay then. Are you going to breastfeed the child, too? Sophie joked. Tristan was rendered speechless. I don't think I can do that. Why don't we feed him milk? That way you'll get to rest well. The baby seemed to understand that they were talking about refusing him milk, for he suddenly burst into noisy tears. The nurses were left speechless upon inadvertently overhearing the couple's conversation. They are undoubtedly a loving couple, although their baby seemed to be unplanned. After dressing the baby, the nurse gently cradled the newborn in her arms and carried him out. Meanwhile, Sophie stayed inside the delivery room, undergoing observation for a duration of 2 hours. Won't you keep our baby company? Sophie asked, expressing her concern about leaving the baby alone. No need. I'll keep you company here. Sarah's outside. Sophie sighed, feeling exasperated that he wasn't even interested in their baby. Didn't you mention that you love children? She asked, feeling confused as Tristan didn't appear to exhibit a fondness for children. I will only love the children you bring into this world. Nevertheless, compared to them, You will always hold the highest place in my heart, he declared, emphasizing that nobody could replace her position in his heart, not even their own baby. Warmth spread across Sophie's heart when she heard his words. Thank you for providing me with a constant sense of security. I consider myself truly blessed to have crossed paths with you, Tristan, she expressed with heartfelt gratitude. Outside, it was Sarah's first time seeing a newborn baby. She gazed at the baby lying in his crib, hesitant to extend her hand and touch him. One saw how careful she was when he arrived at the hospital. One, just look at the wonders of life. Look how tiny he is, Sarah exclaimed with awe, even though the baby weighed 3.8 kilograms. Yes, indeed. Do you like children? Why don't we make one too? She rolled her eyes at him. That's enough. Who do you think you are? Why would I make a baby with you? She snapped. After all, they weren't a couple who were intimate enough to make babies together. Sarah, I now realize my mistake. It was entirely my fault, but can't you find it in your heart to forgive me just this once? The man pleaded. No, she replied firmly, her response immediate. She felt content with their present relationship and saw no need for marriage. Right then, the nurse wheeled Sophie into the ward. They were currently in the hospital's most expansive VIP ward, which naturally boasted an excellent environment. Spotting Sophie, Sarah hurriedly approached to inquire about her well-being. Sophie, are you all right? Are you feeling unwell? If you experience any discomfort, you must inform me. After all, Sophie had made a significant contribution to the Lombard family by adding a new member. Sarah, don't worry. I'm perfectly fine, Sophie responded. After the exhausting process of giving birth, she felt drained and yearned for some rest. I understand you're tired. Get some good sleep, Tristan whispered softly into her ear. Sophie soon drifted off to sleep. When she woke up, she found the ward bustling with people. Mark, Aureus, and the others had arrived. Everyone had gathered around her baby, their faces filled with affection and concern. Sophie couldn't help but feel grateful, knowing that her little one was a fortunate child to be surrounded by so much love and care. Sonny rushed over to Sophie, his heart aching at the sight of her frail appearance. Sophie, giving birth must have been so tough on you. Are you feeling exhausted? He asked with genuine concern. Sophie let out a soft chuckle. It was true that giving birth had been an exhausting and painful experience, but amidst it all, she felt an overwhelming sense of bliss. Sonny, I feel incredibly blissful at this moment, she shared. The sight of her chubby son filled her heart with the profound belief that every sacrifice she had made was undeniably worth it. Sophie, you'll be a great mother, Sonny agreed. He knew she would do a great job. After a while, William arrived with an array of carefully prepared food that he had requested the housekeeper to make for Sophie. These specially chosen dishes were known to be beneficial in increasing breast milk production. Sophie didn't have a mother-in-law, but William was determined to fill that role as well. Sophie, Tristan's mother passed away when he was young, leaving you without help and support during your pregnancy. But I promise you, I will do my utmost to offer you the same level of care and support that a devoted mother-in-law would, William vowed, his eyes welling up with tears. He knew that if his wife were still alive, she would be overjoyed to see their grandchild. Dad, you don't have to go through all this trouble. Tristan and Sarah are already taking good care of me. Besides, you're not young anymore, so it would be better for you to stay at home instead of making the long journey to the hospital. It's fine. I want to visit my grandson, anyway. It had been a while since the Lombard family last welcomed a new life. Okay. You should go take a look at him, Sophie told him. After reaching the ward, William made his way directly to Sophie's side, so he had yet to lay eyes on the baby. Sarah helped William over to the crib. Dad, look. The baby resembles Tristan when he was young. They truly are like two peas in a pod. Sarah exclaimed with excitement. William shifted his gaze toward the baby, who happened to be awake. The baby's eyes bore a remarkable resemblance to Tristan's. A gentle smile adorned William's lips as he gazed at the baby with deep affection. This is the newest member of our family. As the youngest addition to our family, everyone will surely shower him with love and affection. Have you given any thought to his name? William inquired. He wanted to ensure that they selected a name that would be fitting and meaningful for their newest family member. Dad, you should name the baby. You're his grandpa, so it's only appropriate for you to give him a name, Sophie responded. She knew William had been eager to welcome the baby, so it felt right to have him take on the responsibility of naming their newest family member. Me. William gazed at Tristan in surprise. He assumed the parents would want to name their baby themselves. Yeah, Dad. You'll do a great job. Tristan chimed in. He was too lazy to figure out a name for his son, as it was a complicated process. Okay, since you want me to name the boy, I'll go through the dictionary when I get back home, William agreed. He had already brainstormed a few names prior to this, but none of them felt quite perfect. Nevertheless, he was determined to find an exceptional name for his grandson. Sure. Sophie recognized the significance of keeping older individuals engaged and active as a means to reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Right then, the baby began to sob. Sarah picked him up and brought him to Sophie so she could breastfeed the baby. William, Mark, and the other men left the ward so Sophie could breastfeed in peace. William sat down on a bench in the corridor, engrossed in his task of choosing a name for the baby. Sarah soon approached him. Dad, you don't need to come back here later after going home. I'll take care of Sophie, so you don't have to worry, she reassured him. Although she hadn't had any babies herself, she was confident in her ability to care for someone. I know. It's not easy for me to make the journey here, either. Don't worry. A few days later, Sophie will come home with the baby. They will definitely move back into the Lombard residence, Sarah told him. After all, it would be easier for everyone to take care of Sophie back at the Lombard residence. William nodded. I do hope they will move into the Lombard residence with the baby, but if Sophie finds that inconvenient, don't force her to do so. As long as she's happy, nothing else matters. It was clear how much the elderly man adored Sophie. Sarah was deeply moved by her father's words. He was known as a decisive figure and held great influence within the Lombard family, yet he exhibited genuine consideration for Sophie's well-being. Meanwhile, Tristan observed Sophie as she breastfed the baby. A sense of displeasure crept over him as he realized that the baby would have exclusive access to her breast milk. Honey, I don't like this baby. Sophie gaped in disbelief. She could barely believe her ears. What did he just say? Our son is so cute. How could he say that? That's too much. Tristan knew. He is taking over my spot, Tristan cut in, sounding awkward. Sophie had no idea he'd say that. This is too much. Since when did he become this childish? I can't believe he said that. Why are you giving me that glare? Tristan asked indignantly. He had hoped that things would return to normal after Sophie gave birth, but to his dismay, the doctor had just informed him that he would have to remain celibate for at least 3 more months. It felt like pure torture, especially considering he had already abstained from intimacy for a few months prior to this. Stop fooling around, Sophie chided. After she finished breastfeeding the baby, Tristan got her a warm towel for her to wipe her breasts clean. When he came over with the warm towel, Sophie stretched her hands out to take it from him. I'll do it myself. Otherwise, you might find it torturing, she joked. You must be tired. Let me do it, he offered. Before marrying her, he never knew he had a high libido and could never resist her. After a 3-day stay in the hospital, Sophie was finally discharged. Caleb, despite his hectic schedule and limited free time, made it a point to visit her during her hospital stay. Whenever he found a moment of respite, he would prioritize visiting Sophie. Even after Sophie moved back to the Lombard residence, Caleb would often visit her. Gradually, he grew close to the Lombards. Sophie, Mom isn't feeling well, so she won't be able to come visit you. I hope you understand, Caleb said worriedly. Sophie already had a baby with Tristan, but his mother still refused to forgive Sophie for past grievances. "It's fine. The Lombard family and Tristan treat me well, so I'm really happy here," Sophie comforted him. "I'm glad to hear that. Caleb, I understand how busy you are. You don't have to keep coming here. Your work at the Research Institute is important, and I don't want you to exhaust yourself," Sophie told him, not wanting him to tire himself out. "I'm not tired. I just want to visit Day," Caleb replied. Day was the nickname for Tristan and Sophie's baby. With his sparkling eyes and charming appearance, he captivated the hearts of all who laid eyes on him. "Sure, you'll find Day with his grandpa. They're both out basking in the sun," Sophie responded. William believed that exposing children to sunlight was beneficial, so he frequently took Day outside to soak up some rays. Upon learning Sophie had given birth, Isabel and Felix ended their honeymoon. Isabel couldn't wait to meet Day. When she returned and saw Day's adorable, chubby face, she wanted to hug him. However, William wouldn't allow it. "You don't know how to hug a baby, and Day's still small. You better stay away from him." Isabel turned to Felix with a pitiful look. "What do I do, Felix? I don't have a place in the Lombard family anymore. How can they treat her like this? Aren't they concerned that she'll feel upset? It's just a baby." Immediately, Felix hugged her waist and comforted her. "It's fine. Even if they don't care about you, I still will. You are my treasure." Upon hearing how sincere he sounded, Isabel blushed. Even though she was the one acting coy, she felt embarrassed. William shook his head. "In the past, I thought Felix wasn't a good match for Isabel. Now, I think they're a perfect fit. I guess that's how they have always been, one submissive and one dominant." At night, Caleb dined in the Lombard residence before leaving. Thanks to Sophie, he had a better time at the Institute of Physics. During the meal, William offered him words of assurance. "Don't worry, Caleb. Now that Sophie's married to the Lombard family, we absolutely won't let her suffer. Our family culture has always been pretty great." Caleb smiled and replied, "I'm just here to meet my little nephew. We're relieved that Sophie's here. If you need anything in the future, you can ask Tristan for help. We're all family now, after all. There's no need to hold back. Since Caleb is Day's uncle, we naturally have to lend him a hand if he needs help." "Thank you. I won't hesitate to call if I require it." After dinner, Sophie sent Caleb out. "You really don't need to worry about me, Caleb. I'm happy right now. Besides, I won't let anyone bully me." "Okay." Once Caleb left, Sophie returned to the room. Inside, Tristan was playing with Day. The baby's charming eyes resembled hers. Upon noticing her return, Tristan approached her. "Has Caleb left?" "Yeah. I sent him out. He was already busy at the Research Institute, so I asked him to go back and get some rest. I merely helped Caleb with something well within my influence. He really doesn't need to mind it too much. I bet you're tired after taking care of our child for a day. Come over here, honey. I'll give you a massage." Tristan gestured for her to come closer. Day's a chubby kid. If Sophie wishes to feed him milk, she has to carry him, which will be tiring. Sophie sat on his lap and allowed him to massage her shoulders. Initially, Tristan was focused on relieving her stress. However, as he continued, his hands started getting naughty. Naturally, Sophie noticed it and clutched his hand. "I know you've been holding yourself back, but can you wait for a little longer? My body hasn't even recovered yet." Tristan sighed, feeling pretty awful because he couldn't do anything with his wife while she was in his embrace. "What's the matter?" Sophie asked. "Do you not love me anymore, Sophie? I feel you don't love me anymore after Day was born. I'm the most important man in her life, no? Even though Day's my son, I won't allow him to take my spot in her heart." Sophie chuckled and kissed his cheek. "I can't believe a man over 30 is fighting for my attention with a baby a few days old. Why is this man so cute? I love him so much because he's our child. Don't worry. You're still the most important man in my life. Even Day can't be compared to him. Really, really. No one can ever replace you in my heart. Sophie planted another kiss on his cheek. Tristan started touching her inappropriately again. Can you help me, Sophie? I'm having a really difficult time holding myself back. I don't care even if she only helps me with her hands. Okay. Instead of rejecting him, she did what he requested and dirtied her hands. After Tristan released himself, he carried her to the bathroom and washed her hands. It's tiring to take care of a child, Sophie. How about we hire a nanny? If she does everything alone, she'll wear herself out quickly. It's fine. I can handle this. She only focused all her attention on her child because he was still a baby. You should have your own life, too. If we hire a nanny, you'll have your own time and can do what you want outdoors. I don't want to see our baby tie her down. My wife is an impressive woman, and the outside world is vast. She should be allowed to soar freely. I know. You don't need to worry about me. I'm aware of what I'm doing. It doesn't matter what I do. As long as I'm happy during the process, that's all that matters, no? It was then the baby cried, prompting her to tend to him. Contentment flooded Tristan's heart as he stared at her back. That's my wife. Even though she's only 21 years old, she's already a mother. Sometimes, I feel guilty about it. If not for me, she wouldn't have given birth that early. Other times, I feel lucky that she ultimately chose me. In any case, I'll dote on her until death do us part. Time passed quickly when one had to care for their child. Soon, it was time for Day's welcome baby party. As Day was William's grandson, many influential figures from the country attended the event. They were very eager to butter up Tristan and Sophie. William was very enthusiastic during the party, as seen by his long speech on the stage. He emphasized how satisfied he was with his daughter-in-law and gifted her 10% of Lombard Group's shares. Sophie was shocked. Dad, you don't need to do that. I have money. In the past, I was worried that Tristan doesn't like women. It's you who laid that worry to rest and brought happiness to my son, Sophie. I know you aren't lacking in wealth, but consider this my token of appreciation. Keep it. Holding Sophie's hand, Tristan persuaded. You should accept it. It's what Dad wants. As such, Sophie received the present. Thank you, Dad. I'm the one who needs to thank you, Sophie. I hope you and your family will continue to be happy in the future. William smiled. I'm getting quite old now. I can't stay with them forever. After having a child, Tristan had really become a family man. Once Day was old enough not to need Sophie as much anymore, he would occasionally bring the boy to Lombard Group. Given how attractive his parents were, Day was, of course, similarly stunning. The employees of Lombard Group naturally took a liking to the young son of their CEO. His charm was over the charts as he garnered the affection of both male and female employees. Soon, Sophie was back in working condition. She showed up at both the Medical Association and Tanner Group. Even with a child, she was still decisive and capable of handling her work excellently. Soon after she returned to the Medical Association, they solved another medical problem that saved the lives of many patients. The Chilean Medical Association had thus thoroughly surpassed the once superior International Medical Association. With Sophie and Arias supporting the Chilean Medical Association, Barney was relieved that the association was in good hands. He had spent his entire life leading the association and was often too busy to keep his wife company. He felt it was finally time to retire. Sophie, Arias, the Shanakan Medical Association is now in your hands. Never once did I feel ashamed during my time in the medical industry. However, I do regret not spending enough time with my wife. After I retire, I plan to travel with her around the globe. It has always been her dream to see the wonderful sights of the world. There will always be another medical puzzle to solve, but there's only so much time one has. Sophie and Arias didn't have any objections to that. In fact, they were very supportive of his plan. Don't worry, Dr. Smith. With Arius and I taking care of the medical association, there won't be any issues. I doubt these old bones of mine will last for long, so I'll be spending what time I have left to see the world. In the future, regardless of the problems the association face, you two must work together to resolve it. These two students of mine are truly a blessing from the heavens. I don't have any regrets left in my life. Don't worry, Dr. Smith. You know what my relationship with Sophie is like. We won't ever have any conflict with each other, assured Arius. He and Sophie were genuinely closer than siblings. Good to hear. I'll be taking my leave now then. Everyone in the Shanian Medical Association knew that Barney was retiring. Georgina bought and personally presented a large bouquet of flowers to him as an expression of their gratitude. Every member of the Shanian Medical Association respected the old man who had devoted his life to medicine. Barney was truly a talented researcher, as the countless fruits of his labor had saved thousands of lives. How could one not admire a man like that? Do your best, Georgina. You're a talented woman as well. I've no doubt you'll continue to do a mighty impressive job helming the Shanian Medical Association. Barney had been skeptical of Georgina's competency. However, time proved that Sophie had a good eye for talent, as Georgina was skilled at managing an organization. Despite the humongous size of the medical association, Georgina had successfully kept everything in order. Thank you for taking care of me all the time, Dr. Smith. I am where I am today because of your help. Georgina was an appreciative woman. Barney patted her shoulder. You and Arius should work hard, too. Things may get busy for the both of you, but you should still try to conceive at least a child with him. When I was young, I didn't want any children. However, now that I'm old, I do regret my decision somewhat. If my wife and I did have one child in the past, we wouldn't have been as lonely. Don't worry, Dr. Smith. I'll do my best so that you can carry our kid the next time you return, said Arius. Barney nodded. We all need to take care of ourselves. If you need my help to solve a problem, feel free to contact me. As long as it's a medical issue, I'll be happy to help out. After that, Sophie and Arius personally saw Barney and Jessica off. The old couple leaving together was a touching sight to the youngsters. They were a genuine representation of the idea that medicine knew no borders. Let's head back, said Arius. All good things must come to an end. Even the tightest relationships will cease to be one day. Besides, Dr. Smith isn't a Shanian. Regardless of one's nationality, they'll wish to return to their home once they've grown old. I'm not heading back to the medical association. I need to pick up Day, Sophie said. Things have been so hectic in the medical association lately that Day has been following Tristan to Lombard Group. I see. Go then. I'll call a taxi. While Sophie drove there in her own car, Arius didn't. I'll drive you back to the medical association first. It's fine. I know you miss your son. That boy really is adorable. Okay then. Be safe. With that, Sophie drove to Lombard Group. When she arrived, Day was already sleeping on the couch. Beside him was Tristan's assistant, who was guarding the boy. At the sight of Sophie, the assistant got up. Hello, Mrs. Lombard. Sophie nodded wordlessly because she didn't want to disturb Day's slumber. Quietly, the assistant left the room, giving Sophie and her child space. When Tristan returned from his meeting, he spotted his wife sleeping next to his son. He gazed at that heartwarming scene with satisfaction. He removed his coat and gently laid it on Sophie. Once they woke up, he brought them back home. Thanks for taking care of Day the whole day. It must have been tiring, said Sophie. It's not tiring at all, honey. In the future, I'll bring Day to the company more often so that you can focus on doing your thing. Tristan smiled. I know how important the medical association is to her, so I want to provide her with enough freedom to do what she wants. Sophie pecked him on the cheek. I feel lucky to have met a husband as amazing as you. No wonder those socialites are jealous of me. I really do have an outstanding husband. At night, after Day fell asleep, Tristan could finally rest while hugging his wife. Now, you're mine only, my dear. Even though Day is my son, I'll still get jealous. I don't want her to get too close to another man, even if that man is our child. Sophie hugged his neck. That's right. I'm forever yours. Upon hearing that, Tristan couldn't control himself any longer. Are you saying I can do whatever I want tonight? Instead of answering his question, she wrapped her arms around his waist, non-verbally letting him know how much she loved him. I'm truly lucky to have met him. If all the terrible things that happened to me prior to our encounter were meant to lead me to him, then I think experiencing them was worth it. The end.
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.